We are going to talk about artificial neural network, how artificial neural network works. So there are two ways we can make machine intelligent. First one is just by doing the hard coding of the rules. If you encounter this situation, then do this. If this is the case, then do this. But that will not work in a long run. So we want instead machines to learn from itself, so that if any new scenario comes, any new situation comes, machine should be able to handle it, understand it, and then take the decision accordingly. So to achieve that, we want to work machines just like the way human thinks. So that is why we are trying to mimic human brain, which is basically a neuron based artificial network. So before going into the detail, first we need to understand how human brain works at a high level, and then we are just trying to copy the same artificially with the help of neural network. So this is the basic architecture of human neuron. It has three parts. The left hand side are called as dendrites, which are the receptors, which works as a receptors for this neuron, and the central part is called as neuron or the nucleus, and axon is the part which is basically sending the output to other neurons. So from a single neuron, this is just like a set of multiple neurons we have in our body, in our brain. So a single neuron does not work alone, I would say, but it is the collective collections of neurons which makes our brain working. So that is why all neurons have to connect with each other, and that connection happens with the help of dendrites and axon. So dendrites, each neuron receives the input from other neuron, and with the help of axon it sends its output to other neurons. So that is how it is connected to other neurons. If you see, this is a chain of neurons, so these are all interconnected. With the one, it's sending the output to another one which is receiving from its dendrite, and then sending its response or output to another with the help of axon. This is how we feel the senses and the input which we take from our eyes, from mouth, from ears. So this is how we take the input, and then it senses it and sends it to further neurons. So this is how the complete system works. Now coming back to the artificial neuron, which is also called as perceptron. So here, this neuron, at left hand side we see all the inputs, which are just like the previous image we saw for the neuron, are the replicas of dendrites, and their counterpart output is being replaced from the axon, and neuron is the main nucleus part. So this is how we replicate artificial neuron by providing the input, and then it inside the neuron we have some logic, we will talk about it later on, and then it's pass on its processing results to the as output to another neuron. So this is how we collectively make multiple artificial neurons, and we, with the help of this logic, and then we try to solve a particular problem. So if we see x1, x2, there are multiple inputs being sent to this neuron, and correspondingly we have weights assigned, because not all input are of same level of importance. So we need to provide the weightage okay, this particular input is of more weightage, and this particular input is of less weightage, so that neuron can consider those weights while processing the input. So it will be helpful there. So this particular thing, if we talk about neuron, then it consists of, if we see, this is the summation of all the inputs x1, x2, x3 till xn, with its corresponding weights, x1 into w1, x2 into w2, x3 w3, and so on. And this is one step of, this basically neuron consists of two steps. First one is this, adding, summing up all the weighted inputs, plus the another part is, second step is the activation function, which is a complete different topic altogether. But as of now we can just understand there is another step to it, which is activation function. And this is the complete processing of this particular perceptron, which basically produces the output, and which will then again measure it with our standard output. And then we will see, okay, this is as per the uh, prescribed range or not. And if it is not inside that particular range, then we change the weights accordingly. And this is at high level, but this comes, a lot of concepts actually comes into this, like back propagation and gradient descent and all. But at high level, if we want to understand, this is how a artificial neuron works. It takes an input corresponding to its weight, and then process it based on this activation function and the summation logic, and then process the output and send it back to the another neuron. So now we'll see one example of it. Suppose we want to predict the insurance claim. So we want to design a system which can predict how many type of customers which are kind of risky, which can claim their policies which they have taken. So we will design a system around that. So first we need to identify the independent variable, which is called our input, because this can be anything which can be of some importance to this particular system to predict the probability of claim, like age of the insured person, what are habits or the lifestyle of that particular person is, and if there is any existing pre-disease disease are there or not. So obviously, like if age of the person is higher, then chances of insurance claim and disease would be higher. And same, like if a person follows a good habit lifestyle, then chances would be that he will not fall ill and possibly will not claim any insurance as well. So this is how we provide the input and its corresponding weights. And then in particular neuron, we will do that multiplication and summation of that weighted inputs, as we discussed earlier, and then applies the activation function, which basically leads to the claim prediction that particular system with particular insured person would be coming to claim any insurance or not. So this particular system network we have designed, and then it will be applied on multiple inputs, so that it can train on those inputs, so that when it actually performs in the real time, then its performance or its prediction would be almost near to the actual output, actual prediction, and then both can be matched. So this is how we train the artificial neural network. And this is the whole process. That is why it takes a lot of data to train the system, but underlying theme of artificial neural network stays the same. But records, number of records on which this system will be trained, that will be very exhaustive. So that is how a artificial neural network works. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.